Before Bismillah Rahman Rahim, before we start talking about the objectives of our session today, uh, I have already give you a brief about the topic. We are going to talk about pronunciation. What do you expect the topic of pronunciation might be talking about? When we talk about pronunciation, what do you expect we are going to handle? If anyone wants to share, please just raise your hand, and I'm going to have a look at people raising hands. Mr. Ali?
Yes, Mr. Mustafa. I want to comment on this point. Pronunciation, of course, is I think it's the most important point in any language. To pronounce correctly, that will help you to convey your message. And I think this session will deal with good and correct pronunciation, connected speech, reduce accent, and of course, we will deal with the schwa sound. I think this will be our session today.
Okay, thank you. And Mrs. Safa, would you like to add anything?
كنت هقول برضو schwa sound و long and short vowels with stressed letter stressed sound like th and the.
Okay. Let's have a look at learning outcomes today by the end of this module. Hopefully. عليكم السلام كيف؟
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام. Who's talking? Miss Shayma?
Yes. I am just making sure that I'm an attendant at this meeting.
Okay. You are welcome.
Okay. Thanks.
Mr. Muhammad, would you like to add anything? You just raise your hand.
Yes, Mr. Mustafa.
Okay.
I think we may speak about the main problem that we suffer from, which is pronunciation. We may speak about parts of speech, stress, intonation, rhythm. How can we pronounce, or how can we articulate the words correctly?
Okay, but you know that the topic is very big, and just one session to talk about all these things would be much more challenging. But we need to start talking about the topic, and inshallah, when we go further, we can talk about pronunciation, because I do believe that pronunciation is something very basic especially for teachers of English. Okay. Hopefully, by the end of this session, we'll be able to identify features of connected speech. This is a very important topic, of course, and describe techniques to raise learners' awareness of aspects of pronunciation. And I want you to notice here that the focus is on learners, not teachers' awareness. We are going to talk about learners' awareness of aspects of pronunciation. And also evaluate a range of pronunciation activities. Because we as teachers of English agree that pronunciation matters. It's very important. But when it comes to teaching pronunciation, we need to learn about the activities that could be applied and effective in helping teachers teaching pronunciation or helping learners to learn about English pronunciation. Also, we need to integrate pronunciation activities with other aspects of language learning, because it's not just a separate topic. We are not talking about pronunciation as a separate topic. We need to integrate pronunciation with other aspects that help to learn the language as a whole. Okay? The first thing we need to start with today is read about the opinions of different teachers. As you can see, there are many teachers talking about pronunciation and teaching pronunciation. I want you to read and decide which one do you agree with. Okay? Do you agree with the speaker number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Okay? Can you read the public clearly? Can you see the font?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Mustafa.
Just a minute. We need
Okay.
to read the 5 opinions and then talk about which one do we agree with.
Okay, I have already read all of them, but
Okay.
I'll wait. I'll wait. Okay.
Are we done with this? Okay. Who wants to share?
Can I
Mr.
start?
Ali?
Yes,
Yes,
Mr. Mustafa.
Mr.
Okay, Mr. Ali, go ahead.
I have read all these comments or ideas, and I think the last one, or number 5, is the best one. Because he says that he would try to deal with pronunciation as and when it arises. He means that pronunciation is something that is implied in the language. We yes, we don't have to make a separate lesson about the pronunciation, but if we need, it's okay. So pronunciation is implied in every and in each lesson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add anything else? Does anyone wants to share another opinion here?
Yes, Mr.
Okay,
Hello?
yes.
Mr.
Ms. Safa, who wants to share? Shayma?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Shayma.
I agree with the number 2,
2?
who says that
Sorry. Excuse me. I have a problem with my screen. I agree with number 2, but especially with the young learner. For time to time, play a pronunciation game. Never enjoy that. It makes a change. It will be so enjoyable with the young learners. And I think that practicing pronunciation is very important. You know, we shouldn't need to. We need students are not needed the mistakes to teach them pronunciation. We have
Okay.
to make it as uh, we have to give it time, or if we don't have enough time, we should use it during our explanation for the lessons.
Okay, so Ms. Shayma agrees with number 2. From time to time, I play pronunciation game. The learners enjoy that, and it makes a change. Okay? Who else wants to share?
Okay.
Mr. Muhammad?
Okay, Mr. Nasser.
Okay. I'm
Hello,
sorry.
Mr. Nasser Nasruddin.
Yes, Mr. Nasir, تفضل. Go ahead.
Okay, I can. Okay, I can see that number 2 and number 4. I can make a connection between number 2 and number 4. In my during my class, it will be so funny. Okay, if I make a separate lesson, so I can also use number 2. Okay, I can play a pronunciation game with number 4. Okay, I think they will be very important from my point of view. Number 2 and number 4.
Okay,
It's my point of view.
let me make sure that I understand you well. You mean that you can apply the two ideas. Sometimes you play
Yes,
and sometimes you have a separate lesson for teaching pronunciation. Is that okay?
yes, okay,
Okay,
okay.
and which opinion you don't agree with here? What is the
For me,
idea? Yes.
and I think number 3. Number 3.
I don't really feel that confident teaching pronunciation, so I tend to avoid it. Yes, number
Okay,
three, the, the,
I
the,
don't
the
agree with it.
teacher who feels inconfident about his pronunciation, so he avoids teaching pronunciation at all.
Okay,
This is,
something
this is
it's
Excuse me,
most.
Mr. Mustafa, everybody.
uh, I'm sorry,
Sorry,
I couldn't hear you well.
can I add something?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mustafa, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me, my colleagues. I have been facing problems logging in, so I'm late. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Ali, you are welcome.
Mr.
Yeah,
Muhammad Abdul Hakam, Mr. Mustafa.
Muhammad Abdul Hakam.
Yes, Mr. Mustafa.
And why the name here is Ali Faris?
Because this is my family name.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mustafa. I'll change it.
So the teachers raising their hands. Would you like to add anything, or you are going to lower your hands and
I want to add something, Mr. Mustafa. Okay,
okay?
Mr. Nasser speaking. So.
Who wants to add
Hello?
something? Mr. Nasser?
Yes, I wanted to add something very important for me and my colleagues. At the first, I want to focus on when we teach our scientists how to pronunciation, how pronunciation. Okay, I can say I wanted to first. I wanted to focus on the letters and the name of the letters and the sound of the letters. It's very important.
Mm.
Sometimes I find some mistakes. I did it before, but now and I wanted to tell my colleagues to focus on the name and the sound, the correct sound of the verb of the letter.
Mm.
Okay. Sometimes I found some mistakes for my colleagues, and this is make something so bad for my students. Okay, I want to compare something. I want to say our students or the pupil, our students at first in the grade A. I want to say it's a blank sheet, and you can do anything
Mhm.
if you prepare. If you prepare, and you are ready to give anything to your students, you should be well prepared, and you
Okay.
should okay you from my point of view. I'm sorry, I want to say that only. Thank you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You are welcome, and thank you for sharing your own point of view. Okay, let's go to this slide. And the title here are there any useful phrases for teaching pronunciation? For example, listen and repeat. What are the exercises that could be applied in teaching pronunciation? I can ask my students to listen to me or to a video or an audio a manuscript and then repeat after somebody's talking. Is that right? And my question is, do we have any other types of exercises that help teaching pronunciation? Let's have a look. Who's raising their hands? Mr. Nasser, would you like to start? And we have Mr. Muhammad here. Mr. Muhammad, what would you like to say?
Is it Muhammad Abdul Hakam, Mr. Mustafa, or somebody else?
The first one raising hand here is called Muhammad.
1. Where's the stress in this word? 2.
Just a minute.
How many syllables are there in this word?
Would you like me to say the question again?
Yes,
Hello?
Mr.
Yes, please. Would you please repeat
Yes,
it
please.
again?
Okay, when we teach pronunciation, we use useful phrases. Okay, just for example, listen and repeat. When students listen and repeat, they start learning pronunciation. Is that right? The question is, do you have any useful phrases for teaching pronunciation? For example, okay,
I think.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think, Mr. Mustafa, I think that listen and repeat is a common phrase and the best one. And there is another phrase that we can use. It is imitate me or shadow me. But listen and repeat is the most convenient, most appropriate one, and the most common one. Thank you.
Okay, let's have a look together here. We have many different phrases. Okay, we need to read these phrases aloud and try saying them. Okay, and we need to pay attention to the sounds and words which are underlined here. Okay. I can ask my students about the stress in this word. So the question will be, where is the stress in this word? Where is the stress in this word? Okay. How many syllables are there in this word? How many syllables are there in this word? How do you pronounce this word? How do you pronounce this word? Is this question rising or falling? This question number 4 relating to teaching intonation. And we'll talk about this. What's this sound? What's this sound? Okay, listen and repeat. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. How many words can you hear? How many words can you hear? What happens
1.
to...
Where's the stress in this word? 2. How many syllables are there in this word? 3.
Okay. How many words can you hear? What happens to this sound when you use the contracted form? What happens to this sound when you use the contracted form? Are these sounds the same or different? Are these sounds the same or different? Is this a vowel or a consonant? Is this a vowel or a consonant? Which is the most common sound in English? Schwa. Okay, I want you to listen to these questions again.
1. Where's the stress in this word? 2. How many syllables are there in this word? 3. How do you pronounce this word? 4. Is this...
Can you hear the audio?
Yes.
Yes, mister.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
1. Where's the stress in this word? 2. How many syllables are there in this word? 3. How do you pronounce this word? 4. Is this question rising or falling? 5. What's this sound? 6. Listen and repeat. 7. Repeat after me. 8. How many words can you hear? 9. What happens to this sound when you use the contracted form? 10. Are these sounds the same or different? 11. Is this a vowel or a consonant? 12. Which is the most common sound in English? The schwa.
Okay. Now we'll look at some useful terminologies to know about pronunciation. And the word terminology here means some common idioms or expressions that are always connected with pronunciation. I want you to read the definition and choose the word that goes with the definition. For example, what is the most common sound in English? It's a weak and unstressed sound that occurs in many words. Learners often have great difficulty reproducing this sound. Is this the definition of contractions, weak forms, or schwa?
Schwa.
Schwa.
Okay,
Right.
okay, this schwa. Can you think?
I bought my computer.
Can you think about the other two sentences?
I think
Number
contractions
number two.
refer to words that are shortened when spoken. For example, it's IL.
Okay, the word contractions means words that are shortened when spoken. And instead of saying I will, we say I. Okay, so this is the definition of contraction. Okay, and what about the third one?
I bought my computer in America last month. I'll tell you when it's finished.
The weak forms are syllable sounds that become unstressed in connected speech and uh, are often then pronounced as a schwa. For example, in the sentence, what do you want to do this evening? Now, if you notice the question here, what do you want to do? We have the verb do is repeated twice. Here as an auxiliary verb and here as the main verb. Okay? Do you think the verb do will be pronounced the same in both cases? Or one of them will be weak form?
What do you want to do this evening?
When we use do as an auxiliary verb, it is weak. What do you? What do you do? What do you? And you need to notice the difference between do as an auxiliary and do as the main verb. So I want you to listen again to the sentence.
I bought my computer in America last month. I'll tell you when it's finished. What do you want to do this evening?
Have you noticed the native speaker saying, what do you want? What do you want? The verb do here is very weak, and the same verb here is pronounced differently. What do you want to do this evening? Okay, so the first do is weak, ta, and the second is a strong, stressed, do. Okay, now we'll have four other definitions, and we need to select the word or the terminology that goes with this definition. You have a minute to think about them.
Would
Are you done with this?
Yes.
Okay, who would like to share?
Yes, mister.
Shayma?
Yes.
Okay, Shayma, go ahead.
Um, Stress is about which sounds you emphasize in individual words a longer. I can't see.
Chunks?
Or
Chunks?
sentences. Yes, chunks or sentences. For example, in the word banana, it's on the second syllable, while in the word orange, it's on the first syllable. In sentences, we usually stress the most important connect words.
Okay. And this is the definition of stress. What is stress? Stress is some kind of emphasis given to specific syllables in a word in order to make it more prominent, longer, stronger, to give a meaning. Okay? For example, if we looked at the word banana, we have the second syllable is the stressed one. We say ba-na, na, banana, banana. Okay? And the word orange, orange, the first syllable is the stressed one. Okay? My question is, how can a teacher help learners to know about stress? How can I help my students to know about stress and how important it is? We have Mr. Muhammad, Mr. Ali, and Mr. Muhammad Shayma. What about the others? I want you to share with us. Now we agree that the words in English,
it's you and then it's me and then it's him and then it's her.
words in English are always stressed. And when the word is stressed, it means something important here. Okay? How can I help my students learn stressed syllables?
Excuse me, Mr. Mustafa.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt my colleagues, but I think they asked you, Mr. Mustafa, on the WhatsApp. The one who wants to speak has to raise his hand.
Yes.
So I'm strict to this
Okay.
order.
Would you like an orange or a
From my
banana?
colleagues. So I don't know if I appear to you, Mr. Mustafa, or not.
It's okay.
I'm Muhammad with you, but it's written Ali, I think.
Yeah, I have just read your name. I said we have two
Okay.
Muhammads and Ali.
Yeah.
So
Um, okay.
wh-
So
wh- wh-
I wanted to share with you.
okay.
If you want to teach stress, so we have to begin with syllables.
Yes.
The number of syllables will give us or teach us or make us know how to stress on which syllable.
And if your students are very young and they will not understand about the number of syllables and
So this is the problem I wanted to talk with you, Mr. Mustafa,
Would you like an
and my
orange
colleagues.
or a banana?
Teaching pronunciation well, is a little bit complicated. We are
Mhm.
talking about different things, pitch, movement, stress, intonation, rhythm, and the previous things, schwa, and weak forms.
Okay. So
There are so many different things.
let's raise a question again. Do you think
Okay.
teachers should tell the learners, the students, about the terminology and the name of the stressed and unstressed, the contraction, or we can just let them practice saying the words correctly?
I think practice is better.
Yes. So at the beginning, we need to avoid talking about terminology. Here
Yeah.
in our session today, we are not students, we are professionals. So we
Yes.
talk about terminology because we are teachers. But this
That's right.
applies to the situations in which we are teachers are sharing experiences. But if we are teaching young learners, we need not talk about intonation, pitch movement, rhythm, or contraction, or elision, assimilation. We don't need to talk about the
We
name
won't
of the
give
technology.
we won't give this information directly.
Yes. My question is, what is the indirect? What is the easiest ways of helping learners to know about stress, rhythm, intonation, pitch movement without engaging them in terminology? I think if we read the definition itself, we'll notice the word banana has two letters that are written in black bold font.
Yes.
This might be a good way of help young learners that these two letters or this syllable is the
You
stressed
have
one.
to raise the voice in this word, banana, for example. You have to
Excellent.
give a strong voice when
Yes,
you say the word banana and the word orange.
yes. I wanted to help the young learners to say it banana, banana. Okay,
Excellent way.
orange, orange. I can use the font itself, or I can add, you know, circle. I can
Yeah,
underline the syllable. Okay, so the
perfect.
underlined syllable is the strongest one here. So
Very
we
good.
can use such simple ways to help young learners that this word should be pronounced in specific way. So we say banana, banana, not banana.
Banana, for example.
Okay, banana,
Yes.
banana. Okay,
You're from New York, aren't you?
okay.
You're from
Okay.
New York.
Who's going to give us the second definition? Here we have is about how you use a combination of stressed and unstressed words in sentence. Sentence have strong beats, the stressed words, and weak beats. Okay, the unstressed words. What do you think this definition talking about? Is it intonation, rhythm, or pitch movement? Who's raising hands here?
Would you like an orange or a banana?
We have many participants raising their hands. Mr. Muhammad, Mr. Ali, Mr. Muhammad, Ms. Shayma. Is that right? And also we have
البشير فتحي.
yes, Mr. Al-Bashir. Mr. Al-Bashir, what would you like to say?
I think it's intonation.
Intonation. Why do you think this
Yes.
is intonation? Can you read the definition?
Intonation is about how you use a combination of stressed and unstressed words in sentences. Sentences have strong beats, the stressed words, and weak beats, the unstressed words.
Oh my God, it's not intonation. It's rhythm. When we, it's okay. When we use combination of stressed and unstressed words in sentences, we are talking about المزيكا بتاعت الجملة, the rhythm.
Yes. Yes.
When we something emphasized and something weak, okay, this is called.
Okay.
Okay, now we have two more definitions here. What is the
We
way?
can say that
Okay.
rhythm is related to the stress concerning the whole sentence, while stress is about stress in the individual word.
Okay. When we talk about stress, we mean that we emphasize specific words to give special meaning, to give importance. Okay,
Yes.
but rhythm is something like the flow, the music of the sentence itself. Okay.
Yeah.
When
Of
we
this,
using,
the whole sentence.
okay. And what about the pitch of a speaker's voice goes up or down as they speak to help make your message clear?
Intonation.
Is that
You and then it's me.
intonation?
Him and then it's her.
Okay. It's intonation. Intonation is the way, the pitch of a speaker's voice. When we have different levels of voice, and in some cases we use high level of pitch, and in other cases we talk it flat or lower voice. This different levels of pitch of the speaker means we need to send a message. Okay. For example, if I'm asking someone a question, are you from Egypt? And he said, yes. Yes.
You're from.
Okay. If I'm asking him another question, for example, we are having a party. Would you like to share with us? Yes. The same word was said in two different occasions with two different levels of sound. The second one wants to show the enthusiasm or the happiness. So intonation is so important in sending someone's feeling, emotions, or reactions about what is said. This is called intonation. And finally, we have
Mr. I think intonation when we need our learners to concentrate on something. If I
Yes.
ask him, "Have you ever been to London?" Yeah, I think we from high level to low or the contrast.
Okay. So this is called intonation. So we need to send a message by the
Oh,
voice.
really?
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Have you listened to the audio saying really,
Yeah.
really, or
Yes.
really?
Yes.
According to a different situation, the same word can. And by the way, this applies to all languages. It's not a speciality of the English language. The same thing in Arabic or in any other language. تخيل ان في اللغه العربيه لو حد بيقول لك ايه انت غبي، فانت بتقول له ايه نعم. نعم
Mm.
يعني انا بعترض بكلمه نعم ديت نعم بالطريقه دي، ففيها طبقه صوت معينه وفيها نوع من الاعتراض. لكن لو حد بيقول مثلا بيقول لك ايه انت حابب تكون موجود معانا، بتقول له نعم. نفس الكلمه عطت ايه اداء مختلف ومعنى مختلف. وزي ما الاستاذه الفاضله قالت برضو ان انا ممكن استخدم الريزنج والفولينج علشان ادي emphasis لكلمه معينه. اوكي. فانا بقول لحضرتك هو هيبقى يوم الثلاث ولا يوم الايه الاربع، فبقول لك ايه Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday. فانا بركز هنا على الاختيار واحد من الاثنين دول. اوكي. ده برضو ممكن يكون في الايه الانتونيشن. والبيتش movement here is the way the quality of the voice changes as a speaker communicates. English often uses changes in pitch to communicate meaning, especially attitude. نفس الكلام ان انا ممكن استخدم طبقات الصوت بتاعتي علشان ادي different message. Okay, let's go to another 4 types of terminology. اخر 4. عندنا linking, assimilation, elision, intrusion. I want you to read the definitions and decide which terminology goes with which definition here. You'll have a minute and we'll start talking together.
Good. Game.
Have you finished? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Mustafa.
Okay, let's see who's raising their hands. Here we have Mr. Muhammad?
Oh yes, Mr. Mustafa, I'm with you.
Okay. What would you like to say, Mr. Muhammad, about the first definition here?
I think it's assimilation.
Yes. And what is assimilation?
Assimilation is a process where sounds different, where sounds in different words change when they put together in speech. When they are put together in speech, the sound changes to be more similar to the first. For example, white bag can sound like white bag when you say it.
Yes.
White bag.
Here is an important feature of English pronunciation. It's the assimilation. Assimilation when two corresponding sounds come to following each other, and one of them is affected, is changing to the other. So if you looked at the word white and the word bag, the first word white ends with the sound t, and the second word starts with b sound. So t and b are very similar in pronunciation. So the b sound affects the t sound. So we say it white bag.
10-pin bowling.
White bag.
That was a good game.
Okay. Do we have assimilation in Arabic?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Could you give us?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we really do. Where is that? Could you give us an example?
ما يعمل.
ما يعمل. في القرآن الكريم, when we study how to read the Quran in the perfect way, we have الإدغام.
Yes.
وعندنا الإخفاء.
إقلاب.
وعندنا الإقلاب. كويس.
Let's stop. Let's stop. Next. Village.
I think.
Next village.
I think.
Let's stop for lunch in the
Here
next
we
village.
have assimilation in the same way, just like English. Okay, when two sounds are very similar in pronunciation, one of them changes to the other, and the word is pronounced instead of say white bag, the English speaker say white bag. Okay, but we don't have two separate letters, P sound and B. We don't say wipe bag. No, we don't separate them.
Always.
Okay, we say
I always.
white bag.
Two
Bag.
apples.
Okay.
2 apples. 4 oranges.
Okay.
4 oranges.
Let's think about the second
I always
definition.
eat 2 apples and 4 oranges for breakfast.
I want you to think about what happens is when sounds disappear as part of natural connected speech. For example, include unstressed schwa in words like different, library, or te and de sounds in consonant clusters like Christmas, Christmas, sandwich. What do we call this?
Yes, Mr. Mustafa, I think, but I'm not sure. It is elision. Something like silent letters.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Not at all.
Let's
It's
see.
no problem. Not at all.
It's elision.
Pin.
What do you think elision is?
Pin.
Could you read the definition of the word elision, please?
Bowling. 10-pin bowling. That was a good.
Okay. Elision is when sounds disappear as part of natural connected speech. Examples include unstressed schwa in words like different or library, or the T and D sounds in consonant cluster like Christmas and sandwich. Sandwich, okay?
Yes.
We call it silent letters. I think this is a simple definition. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So when we have some sounds, when we talk in connected speech, and here I want to emphasize the difference between pronunciation separately and connected speech. For example, when we say the word uh, uh, disappear, disappear as part of natural. When we pronounce each one of these words separately, the sound is quite clear and stressed. But what happens when we connect words together,
Let
because
st
any language in the world
Good.
is not,
Game.
is not,
Good
the
game.
words are not said
10.
separately.
Pin.
Even in our
Tip-pin.
language, the Arabic language or
Bowling.
any other languages.
10-pin bowling.
let's
That was a
stop.
good game of 10-pin
Let's
bowling.
stop.
I just want to stop this. So what happens is that when we connect words together, some letters are changing because of they are connected with other sounds, and some sounds disappear completely. For example, the word Christmas. Okay, so we don't have the sound here. We say Christmas, Christmas, and also the word sandwich. We don't say sand. We say sandwich, sandwich. Okay, and this called elision. نقدر نقول ان هو ده بقى الاخفاء، ان احنا الصوت مش اصبح مش موجود يعني. Okay. Can you listen to the native speaker here giving us example?
Good game.
Have
Good game. 10. Pin. 10-pin. 10-pin. Bowling. 10-pin bowling. That was a good game of 10-pin bowling.
have you heard him saying good game? When we connect these two words together, we don't say good game, we say good game, good game. The first death sound is omitted. We don't say good game, we say good game. The same thing applies to the word when we say tin pen, we say tin pen, because the N sound changed to M sound when it is followed by P. Say 10 pound, 10 pounds, not 10, it's not 10 pounds, it's 10 pounds. Could you listen to him again? It's very important to listen to native speakers saying this.
Good game. Good game. 10. Pin. 10-pin. 10-pin. Bowling. 10-pin bowling. That was a good game of 10-pin bowling.
Let's stop. Let's stop. Next village. Next village. Let's stop for lunch in the next village.
And now We'll have a look at intrusion. What is intrusion? The terminology intrusion means when two vowel sounds meet and you insert an additional yeh or weh or reh sound to make the transition between the two. You know, in Arabic, it's difficult to read two vowels followed when they are without any movement. or عندنا في اللغة العربية يا جماعة ما ينفعش أقرأ حرفين ساكنين ورا بعض، يعني التقاء الساكنين. فبقول لك إن إحنا في واحد بيتحرك أو بيضاف صوت في النص علشان عملية النطق تتم. نفس الحكاية عندهم in English. When we have two vowels, أي اتنين فاول يجوا ورا بعض في البرونانسيشن بس يكونوا أصلا منطقين، يعني the two vowels are pronounced. علشان ننطق ال two vowels ورا بعض مش هنعرف مش هيخرجوا، فلازم بندخل بينهم consonants. الكونسونانتس اللي احنا بندخلها اليه or و or ر. فتلاحظوا الغرض من الادخال ده، كلمة intrusion يعني ادخال، عملية اقحام او ادخال. الغرض منها ان انا اخلي التو فاولز يتنطقوا بسلاسة. ماشي، انا عايز حضراتكم تسمعوا، وبعد ما تسمعوا هقول لكم هو اللي بيركز على ايه بالظبط.
I always. I always. 2 apples. 2 apples. 4 oranges. 4 oranges. I always eat 2 apples and 4 oranges for breakfast.
Good. Let's
Game.
stop.
Good
Let's
game.
stop. Next. Village. Next
Ten
village. Let's stop for lunch in the
Ten.
next village.
Bowling. 10-pin bowling. That was a good game of 10-pin bowling. I always. I always. 2 apples. 2 apples. 4 oranges. 4 oranges. I always eat 2 apples and 4 oranges for breakfast.
Have you noticed the word I and the word always? The word I is a vowel, and always starts with the letter A, which is a vowel. So we can say I always. I always. What happens here, we add yah sound, so I say I always. I always. Okay? The same thing applies to the word to, has the long oo, and the word orange starts with another O, so I say two urine, two oranges, two oranges. So I add weh sound, okay? And when we add yeh or weh, it depends on the vowels itself. If the vowels are has the sound oo or o, so we add the weh sound. It goes with these vowels. And if it is a or a, we add the yeh sound. So we don't say I always. I always. I say I always. Have you noticed that? Yeah. I always go to school. This happens in connected speech. Would you like to listen to it again?
Good game. Good game. 10 pin. 10 pin. 10 pin. Bowling. 10 pin bowling.
Let's Let's stop.
That was a good game.
Let's
Pim
stop.
Pim bowling.
Next. Village. Next village. Let's stop for lunch in the next village.
I. Always. I always. 2. Apples. 2 apples. 4. Oranges. 4 oranges. I always eat 2 apples and 4 oranges for breakfast.
And finally, we have linking. What is linking? This is the last terminology we have, is when a vowel sound meets a consonant. When a vowel sound meets a consonant sound, and you drag the final consonant to the initial vowel, or vice versa. When we have two words, the first word ends with a vowel, and the second one starts with a consonant. We usually take the last consonant of the first word with the first vowel of the second word, and they are pronounced together. Listen to this example.
It's no problem. It's no problem. Not at all. Not at all. It's no problem. Not at all.
Have you heard that?
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll have some practice. We talked about features of connect speech.
Excuse me, mister.
Yes.
I don't understand the last one.
Which is
Linking.
okay. Let me.
I think it's similar to the one before it.
Okay. I'll give you an example here using can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can, Mr. Mustafa. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we say no, problem. How many words do we have now? We have two words.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes.
The first word ends with a vowel, which is oh, no. And the second word starts with a consonant. Okay? What happens is that when we need to connect the two words together, we pronounce the last vowel here, okay, with the first consonant in the second word. We don't say no problem. We say no problem, no problem, no problem, as if they have become one word. We link them together. Okay?
Yeah.
Let me give you another example. If we have the word he or heat, I'm sorry, we say hate them. We have the te and the, and when we pronounce these words together, we need to connect them. We say hate them, hate them. What I mean, we don't need to add any space in pronunciation. We don't separate the words in pronunciation. They are connected.
Mr.
That
Mustafa,
means,
I have
Mr.
a comment here.
Yes.
Uh, I can add something
Okay.
to your words. The difference between intrusion, which was number 3, and the last one, linking, is that intrusion is something when we say I am. We have two words. The first one is I, the second one is am, but we
Yes.
don't say I am, we say I am. So to link these two words, we add the sound يا. It's intrusion اللي هو الإقحام، دخلنا حاجة في النص we add يا sound. So we say I am. Okay, this is intrusion. We create a new sound. We add a new sound between the two vowels. But here, for example, in junior 6, time for English 6, we say, "Come on, Mona, don't give up." We don't say give up. We link them. Give up. This is
Yes.
linking. We don't intrude any vowels or any sounds. We just link the two words.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. When we have two words, we link them together without adding any other sound. This is called linking. We just connect them. Okay. But what happens in linking that we take stop. If you looked at this example, we have the best sound in the first word and the vowel here, it, in the second word, okay? We don't say stop it. We say
Yes.
stop it. Stop it. This is called linking. Linking means to make two words, just one word in pronunciation, okay? Without adding any extra or any additional vowel. But intrusion, we add the sound yeh or weh or reh in order to make the pronunciation of the two vowels possible. Because without adding this intrusion, without adding this sound, it would not be easy to pronounce two vowels together. For example, I want you to notice the vowel chu is oo, and the word apple, it starts with a vowel. So here we have two vowels. Can we say two apples? It's difficult to connect them without adding.
The- we want to say the two words without pauses, Mr. Mustafa.
Yes.
Two.
Two.
We don't have
two apples. Two apples.
Yeah.
It would be so difficult to produce them in this way. So we add the weh sound. Two apples. Two apples. Okay. This is the difference between intruding something. هنا احنا حطينا صوت في النص عشان كده اسمها intrusion. عملية إقحام. كويس. أما هنا احنا ما قلناش. Okay.
Yes.
Would you like to add anything?
No, I want to say what I understand now. Is it common to do this with all the words? If there is someone ends with the consonant, the other ends with a vowel, and vice versa. We do this with all the words.
Yes.
Not in special cases.
Yes, but if the first word ends with a consonant, we take this consonant and add it at the beginning of the second word. Okay?
Yes.
So we don't say stop it. We say stop it. Stop it. As if the best sound has become part of it. Stop it.
Yes.
Okay? This is called linking the two words. Okay, let's go back to our practicing. Here we have a dialogue, okay? And we need to work in pairs and follow the instructions. And the instructions here, we need to decide the stressed and weak forms. Can you remember stressed and weak forms? We have talked about them, okay? And the dialogue here. Read the dialogue out loud and decide which words may be stressed and which may be weak forms. Are the weak forms pronounced as eh or the schwa sound? Okay, let's practice this dialogue. Who's going to read this? Who wants to share? Mr. Al-Bashir and Miss Shayma. Okay?
Yes.
Mr. Al-Bashir A and Miss Shayma B.
What time is it?
It's a quarter to 3. What time shall we leave?
About 4 o'clock, before the rush hour.
Okay, could you read it again, please?
What time is it?
It's a quarter to 3. What time shall we leave?
About 4 o'clock, before the rush hour.
Okay, let's go back to the question. Thank you for sharing. The question is, which words may be stressed here? Mr. Al-Bashir. In the first question, what do you think the word that might be stressed is?
What? The letter T.
Okay. And what about time?
What time is it?
Okay. Which one of them is going to be stressed?
I think time.
Yes, because the person is asking about time. So what time is it? What time is it? Okay.
Okay.
And Ms. Shayma, your answer it's quarter to 3. It's quarter to 3. And then you ask another question. Let's go to the first part. Which one do you think would be stressed?
I think it's a quarter, and then the second sentence, what time shall we leave? I think that time.
Okay, but I want to ask Mr. Al-Bashir about the first sentence. We said that time is the stressed one. And what about the weak words here? Do you think we have weak words? Yes. I don't think it's important to say. Yes. We are going to say, is it or is it? What time is it?
What time is it?
So is it going to be E or when it is a weak form?
I think it's E.
The schwa.
What time is it? Yes, schwa.
Okay. The same thing here for Miss Shayma. It's quarter to 3. It's quarter to 3. What the word that is going to be stressed and emphasized is the word quarter and the word 3, because they are very important. But it's and 2 are going to be weak words, okay? And the word 2 is long O. When we pronounce the word 2, we say 2, it's long O, long U. But when we have it a weak form, we say t. It's a quarter to 3, t to 3, t to 3. It's not, it's a quarter to 3. It's a quarter to 3. We don't make it strong or emphasized. Okay? And the word here, what time shall we leave? What do you think the word that is stressed here in that question, Shayma?
I think uh, uh, it begins from time shall we leave. I think time and leave.
Yeah, but we need one of them. One of them is going to be the most important word.
I think leave.
Leave. Yes. So, and what time shall we leave? What time shall we leave? The word leave here is going to be strong, stressed, I mean. And Mr. Al-Bashir said about 4 o'clock.
The stressed syllables. The stressed.
Yeah.
I think 4.
Yes.
About 4 o'clock.
Yeah, about 4 o'clock. And the word about is going to be week.
Week.
About,
Yes.
About
4 o'clock.
about
Before,
4. About 4 o'clock.
yes, and when we say before the rush hour, I think the word rush is going to be
Yes.
Rush.
stressed because,
Yeah.
yes, I need here to make it important for us, as if I'm reminding you, please
Yes.
Yes.
hurry, make haste in order not to get stuck into the rush hour.
Yes. To focus on.
Okay, let's have a look here. We have the circle, the point, the dot here to emphasize the stressed words here. So the word time in the first question, what time is it? And the word quarter to 3 are two important words here because it gives us the time. And the word leave. But if you looked at the schwa, it has become, instead of saying a, we say it's a quarter. It's a quarter. Okay. الجزئيه المهمه هنا يا جماعه، هو احنا لما بنيجي ننطقه الاي، الاداه دي لوحديها مش في جمله، مش احنا بننطقها نقوله a، اسم الحرف زي هو موجود في الابجديه a، بس هو انا لما اجي اقوله في جمله هقول it's a quarter to 3 ولا it's a quarter. It's اكن حاجه وقفت في زوري. بصوا it's a quarter. It's مش it's a quarter. It's a quarter to 3. The word to نفس الحكايه. To is long بس هنا هتبقى weak. It's a quarter to 3. بصوا it's a quarter to 3. وزي ما حضراتكم قلتوا برضو ال 4 هتبقى stressed مع كلمه اطلاق. 4 o'clock. بس هتبص لكلمه at. بصوا البريبوزيشن ده اسمه at، بس لما اجي هنطقه هو كونكتد هنقول عليها ايه؟ 4 o'clock. at مش at. بصوا هو لوحده اسمه at لما تيجي تنطقه لوحده. طب حطه كده في جمله at 4 o'clock at 4 o'clock at 4 o'clock، ده اسمه شوا. عشان كده في فرق لما اجي ابحث عن الكلمه ونطقها في القاموس هي لوحدها منفصله هتلاقيها مش معموله شوا، هتلاقيها معموله الآ زي كلمه كات ماشي. لكن هنا في السنتنس الوضع بيختلف لان الكلام هنا اصبح كونكتد. فاقول at 4 o'clock before the rush hour. بصوا rush hour. Okay, let's practice the second dialogue. And here we are after assimilation, elision, and contraction. Can you remember these 3 terminologies? Assimilation, elision, and contraction. I want you to read the dialogue out loud and analyze it for possible change or omission of individual sounds. Okay? Who wants to read it?
Mr. Mustafa, okay, if anyone have raised his hand or her hand, they can comment.
احنا معانا مستر محمد
Okay.
ومستر محمد ومين تاني رافع ايديه؟ مس شيماء. Okay. Another one. Mr. Ali, what would you like to say, Mr. Ali?
Yes, Mr. Mustafa. Letter A, where do you live? Here we have do you. We
Mhm.
say do you when we read them separately, of course.
Yes.
But in linking or connected speech, we would say where do you live? Do you or do ya? Here the auxiliary verb do will it change to d. Here we omit the u sound, and when
what
we have
do
can I go on?
Okay.
Okay. And when we have the y sound followed by the sound, we can have a new sound which is ja ja. So we can say where ja live, where ja live.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I think you confused two important things. When we have did you, where did you? It changed to the sound che. When we have
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Yes. So
yeah, but here
if it is did, so that the and the ya changes into ja. But
yes.
here we have so we can say where do ya live?
And why do you say yeah? It's you. What do you?
I think when we say it as native speakers, they change it to ya
Okay, could you read the question as a whole?
as a whole. Okay, where do you live? Do you live? Do you live?
Yes, it's not do yeah.
Okay. So let me adjust it. Sorry. Do you live?
Okay, and what is the case? Is it assimilation, elision, or contraction here?
Of course, it's not contraction. I think it is um, uh, assimilation.
Okay, and what happens in the sentence number B? In the next verb.
In the next village, we can make, we would say in the next village, we can drop the ta sound, and this is elision.
Okay.
وربنا يستر، خايف تكون عكيت الدنيا ولخبطت نفسي ولخبطت my colleagues, but I think that's correct إن شاء الله.
Okay.
In the next village.
Okay. And what about me too? How are you going to get home?
As you said, me too. To here, we would not say it to as if it is a separate word. Me too. Okay.
Okay.
How connected with are. So this is linking.
Mhm.
This is we call linking. The consonant sound wa and the vowel a, which is in the word are, we link them together. So we say how are you go. You would not. We would not say it you with the stress. No, it changes to you. Sorry, it changes to how are you? How are you? Not you.
Yes. It becomes
It
okay.
becomes unstressed. Unstressed.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. And what
going,
about
we can make here an elision. We drop the g sound. Going to get home. Get home.
or
So
gonna?
how are you going to get home? How are you going? How are you going to get home? How are you going to get home?
Okay. And in American English, they say, how are you gonna? How are you gonna get home? Gonna. They pronounce the word going to gonna. Okay.
Yes, I know that, but we are strict to be more formal and to be more adhere to a British accent.
Okay. And what about the last one? I'll take a green bus
Okay, here
to
we say I will take a. Here we link the k sound in the word take with the a sound which comes after it. So we will I will take a green bus. I will take a green bus. Number six. Do you want to? We would not say want to. When we have the letter or any consonant that
Mhm.
is repeated in two words like want to, we just pronounce it as once.
Yes.
So we would say, do you want to join me? Do
Want.
you want to join me?
Okay, but we need to emphasize the word green has the N sound, and the B sound here are very similar. So it changes to M sound. So we say
Yes,
green bus, green
green
bus.
bus.
Okay,
Yes, and
and
this is assimilation.
okay, and also we have the weak forms, the unstressed words. Type. Before I forget, uh, um, what are the words in English that are weak and unstressed in all cases? When they are used in a sentence, they are weak forms.
I think they are the pronouns, object pronouns.
All the
For example,
pronouns, okay? And also we have the prepositions like
yes,
to, in, and on, and also auxiliaries. And when we have conjunctions like and, but,
or
okay? So parts of a speech, we have the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives, and the adverb. They are stressed. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverb are always stressed, but pronouns, preposition, conjunctions, and interjections are unstressed. They are weak all the time. Okay, but in cases we need to emphasize them. It's okay. It depends on the situation itself. So if you are asking who did something, and you are looking at me and say me, I emphasize the pronoun here. Me, uh, this could be okay in a situation according to the situation itself. Right. Let's go back to our practice. So we have a dialogue here, and we think about which word is assimilated, or is there elision here, or a contraction. Okay. Let's look at the answer here. The word do ya, where do ya. Okay. Here we have do you, do ya, do ya. This is called assimilation. The word do ya. And also next village, we have assimilation here too. And you gonna, the take it as a common word. How are you gonna to? Okay, and I can use I'll instead of I will, and this is called contraction. And also the word green bus, it is assimilation. And giant me. Have you not? Giant has the N sound, and me has M sound. So the M sound changed in the word join to be M. Join me. Join me. It's not join me, it's join me. Is that okay? I know that
Okay.
the topic sometimes has some rules that we listen or hear about for the first time. So when we talk about them once again, I think it would be more familiar. Okay?
Yes, it needs more practice.
Of course. And I'd like to have
Excuse me.
yes.
By the way, we have taken these subjects when we were in the faculty,
Yes.
but we forgot them.
Yes, and I do remember.
Thank you very
Yes,
much for getting us back to these important topics
and thank
because
you.
we completely
And I also I thank you because you really helped me today, because I know that the topic is sensitive and it's not easy to talk about pronunciation. Most most people avoid talking about pronunciation because we are not confident whether what we say or what we the way we pronounce words is correct or not. So the topic is not just like if we are talking about methodology, grammar structure, or something like this. I think it's more easy.
yeah, yes.
Okay, here we talk about linking. When reading this final exchange out loud, think about which words may be linked together. What did you have for
What did you?
lunch? What did you have for lunch? We need to connect, we need to link words here if it is possible to be linked. And also, a tomato and cheese sandwich, an apple, and a bar of chocolate. So we need to look at these two sentences, and decide if any linking could be done here. We talked about intrusion, and we talked about linking. Linking, two words are linked together. The last consonant was the first vowel in the second word, or vice versa, without adding any additional or extra sounds. Intrusion means we add yeah or weh or r in when we have two vowels. Okay, I want you to note the word tomato, and
One.
we have here the O sound
Yeah.
and the A sound, a sound in the word and, there are two vowels. So here we have the O. We need to add w sound. We say tomato, tomato, tomato one, a tomato one cheese. We don't say a tomato and cheese. We don't say it like this. Say a tomato one cheese. And the same thing here applies to an apple. We have the
An apple.
yes, it becomes an apple, as if the N sound has become part of this of the word apple, an apple. Okay, and we have the same thing here, and a barrel, a barrel. Okay, if we don't pronounce the sound R in the word bar, so we will have a vowel, and the word of starts with another vowel. So there will be two vowels. We need to add yeah, okay, to pronounce it. Have you noticed this? And the word cheese sandwich, we have this the z cheese z sound with s sound, cheese sound, cheese sandwich, cheese sandwich. So we don't pronounce the two; they become one. Cheese sandwich, cheese sandwich, an apple.
This is linking.
This is called linking, and also an apple is another linking here. Apple and an apple and borrow, borrow. If the sound if the sound R is pronounced in American English, it will be part of a borrow. Okay, a bar of chocolate, as if it has become one word. A barrel, a barrel. Okay. I want you to think about these questions. Do you think is it important for teachers who teach English, math, or science in English to be aware of and good at using these features of pronunciation? Another question. The spoken form of English can sound quite different to how it looks when written down. Should teachers introduce these features of connect speech to their learners? Why? Why not? And the last question is, if you feel that they should be introduced, how can teacher integrate these features with other aspects of language learning? So I want you to think about the first question first. Do you think is it important for teachers who teach English, whether they teach English or math or science, to be aware of and good at using these features of pronunciation? Let's see who's reading your hands. The Shayma,
Yeah.
what would you like to say?
I think it's important, but not as much. It's not as much important as English teachers. They can use it during the explanation, but they shouldn't emphasize on it during the day. They concentrate on numbers and parts of the body in science. This is my opinion.
So, yes, you
It's not
agree
much
that
important for them.
being aware of these things and being good at using these features is important. You agree with this? And do you think the importance is the same to English teachers and math and science teachers, or it differs?
I think English teachers are more concerned of learning this for their skills.
Yes,
But if
yes,
math and science teachers, they have to know it, or the students will be so confused in hearing this
yes.
in English or in science.
English teachers are more concerned. Okay.
Yes.
Um, so I do agree with you. It's very important for teachers, especially those who teach English teachers, to be aware of the features of pronunciation and also to be good at using these features, whether they are speaking or teaching young learners. Okay? Do we have any other opinions? Mr. Muhammad, would you like to add anything? Muhammad Abdul
Yes, Mr.
Hakam?
Mus- yes, Mr. Mustafa.
Okay?
I think pronounce a good pronunciation using all the techniques of pronunciation is important for everyone who speaks English, whether he is an English teacher, math teacher, or a science teacher. We have to
Yes.
pronounce the language correctly.
Okay.
Doesn't matter
But
whether I'm an English teacher, science, or math teacher.
yes,
But I agree. Also, it's more important for the teacher of English because he is mainly related to the language.
okay. What about the second question? The spoken form of English can sound quite different to how it looks. When we write English, the letters have the written form, but when we speak them, when we utter them, the situation is different. They are connected together, and a lot of things happens to these letters when they are pronounced as sounds. So,
Because yes,
do you,
of course, because while speaking, we use
yes,
all these techniques we have mentioned earlier.
mhm.
For example, we use elision and we use assimilation.
The question is,
So yes,
okay,
yes,
the question is, do you agree to the idea of using the features of connect speech to young learners? Should we teach them, introduce these features to learners? I mean, all learners.
yes, of course, but gradually.
Okay,
We
so we all agree that it's important, but we need to give it gradually in order to help them know. And
yes,
at the very early stages, we need to avoid the terminology. We need not talk about names of these features.
yes. I don't teach them the terminology.
Yes,
I
that's
give
a
them
good
the
point.
idea, the idea, not the terminology.
Yes, we all agree about this. So the last question is, if you feel that they should be introduced, how can teachers integrate these features? Here, do you think that we should have a separate lesson for teaching pronunciation or integrate these features within other language skills and teaching the language in general? Let's have another participant here. Mr. Ali, would you like to share us?
Yes, please, Mr. Mustafa. Uh,
Okay.
we had a training which was called integrated skills. The training
Yes.
was about how to use the different skills of English language together. So when we have a conversation lesson, we have new words. We have I'm so sorry. We have new words. We can introduce the connected speech, as I said, implied in the conversation itself.
Okay. Okay. So we all agree that teaching pronunciation integrated with other skills is much better than teaching it separately. Okay, because when we talk about uh, pronunciation separately, I don't think we help students to practice it in a context. So we talk about do it like this and don't say it like this. So it's much better to be in a context with other skills and integrate it. Okay? We talked about intonation and said it's the high and low, stressed and unstressed syllables in a word in order to convey a message or to show something is much more important than other things. For example, if you looked at the sentence, I'm going to the market, okay? I'm going to the market to buy some orange, for example, okay? When I say this sentence for the first time, I should emphasize the most important words in the sentence. For example, what do you think the words that will be emphasized here in this sentence? I'm going to the market to buy some orange.
Market and buy.
Market and buy.
So it's market
But
and buy. What about?
Some يعني the last word. Where is the last word? I think that it's more important. It's very important.
Yes. So how can we say the sentence, I'm going to the market to buy some oranges?
That's to convey the message.
How can we say it?
Market.
By use.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your voice breaks up.
You can say I'm going to the market to buy some. I'm to the market to buy some. The word market is more stressed.
The word market.
You can hear me?
Would be, yes, I do hear you
More,
now. And what about the word oranges?
Of course, it's important to give a stress on the word orange.
Okay, so if I say I'm going to the market to buy some oranges, the word oranges are going to the word orange is going to be stressed, giving more importance.
Of course, it will have a stress. It's important.
Okay, if I'm going to say I'm going to the market to buy some oranges and bananas. Now we have another important item. What do you think the way we are going to say this sentence? Now we have two different fruits here. Do you think we are going to emphasize the two words here or just one of them?
Both of them, I think.
I want you to notice that in the first time we talked about orange, now we are going to talk about orange again, and we are adding a new item. So I don't think we need to emphasize the word oranges in the second sentence because we already emphasized it in the previous sentence. In a connected speech. تخيلوا يا جماعة أنا قلت لكم أنا رايح أشتري برتقال. كويس؟ فأنت قلت لي وإيه كمان؟ في المرة الثانية هقول لك برتقال وموز. هتلاحظ إن كلمة موز بقت إيه؟
أكثر أهمية.
أكثر أهمية. وخاصة إن كلمة أورنج أصبحت معروفة من الإيه؟ من السياق الأولاني. فالأجنبي هيقولها لك إزاي؟ I'm going to buy some orange and banana. Orange and banana. شوفوا orange and banana. ليه؟ كلمة orange هتبقى weak لأنها بالفعل أصبحت موجودة عندك. الايتم الجديد هو اللي هيبقى emphasized.
بس لو انا بقولها المره الاولى هيبقوا هما الاثنين.
لا انا بتكلم هنا على في المره الاولى قلنا اورنج، في المره الثانيه هقول اورنج اند بانانا. ماشي. طب لو حطينا ايتم ثالث، لو حطينا باينابل، ايه اللي هيحصل؟
هننتهي على باين، هنركز على باين ابل.
ايوه شايفين الاسهم؟ ايوه هتبقى الباينابل هي اللي هتبقى واخده الرايزنج تون، واللي قبلين دلوقتي هيبقى فولينج. كويس. وهكذا. فالحاجات ديت بالنسبه as for native speakers they learn these things naturally when they are very young by listening to their parents and their relatives. بياخدوها بشكل طبيعي زي عندنا في لغتنا. But as for we second language learners, we need to note how the native speakers say it. عايزين نركز معاهم علشان نقدر نفهم هم ليه هم قالوا الكلمه ديت بالانتونيشن ده، ليه قالوا الكلمه ديت بارتفاع الصوت ده، ليه قالها رايزنج، ليه ديت قالها فولينج. ده بنعرفهم من خلال متابعتنا للنيتيف سبيكرز، مش اي حد غير النيتيف سبيكرز بالتحديد، لان زي ما قلت لكم دي بتبقى عندهم حاجه طبيعيه. Okay. Do you think that teaching intonation in classrooms is important?
For young learners, it's not important.
Have you ever heard a computer reading text? لو تخيلتوا يا جماعه كده حد بيقرا زي الريبورت. When we read all the words in the same level of sound, with the same pitch of sound, with the same intonation, we say, why should we focus on intonation in the classroom? Okay. الطريقه ديت هو ده الريدنج الفلات ريدنج without any intonation. عشان كده اللي بيدي طعم اللغه سواء كانت لغه عربيه او لغه انجليزيه ان حضرتك تاديها الاداء الطبيعي اللي هو بالانتونيشن. Why should we focus on intonation in the classroom? Why should we focus on it? هتلاقي في كلمات بقت ويك مش هتاخد اهتمام كتير في النطق، في كلمات تانية هتبقى more prominent هتبقى هي الستريسد. ماشي. الصوت بتاعك هيبدا يطلع وينزل ليفلز علشان ادي مسجز معينه. فعشان كده لو احنا هنجاوب على السؤال ده why should we focus on intonation, because it's very important to emphasize some words to give some importance to this word. Can you suggest any techniques? طب لو انا هعمل كده مع الليرنرز هقعد اقول لهم هنا الانتونيشن هنا وده رايزنج وده فولينج وكده؟
لا طبعا.
اكيد طبعا لا. طيب في other techniques. لو انتوا خدتوا بالكم من موضوع الاسهم ده، ممكن لو انا هعمل الاكسرسايز للليرنرز بتوعي حسب سنهم وحسب مستواهم وكده، ان انا بالسهم ده انا عايز اقول ان في هنا الورد دي هتبقى بالرايزنج تون وديت هتبقى فولينج تون. دي ممكن تبقى احد التكنيكس.
طبعا كويسه جدا.
المهم ان هي it's important to make the language natural. يعني الفكره انا طبعا بحكم ان انا بروح اوجه على مدارس وكده، فمثلا اول ما بتخش الفصل مثلا عند التيتشرز الاولاد بيقوموا كده، فانت بتقول لهم مثلا السلام عليكم او جود مورنينج، الطريقه اللي هم بيردوا فيها تحس ان هي طريقه غلط. وعليكم السلام ورحمه الله. صح؟ مش دايما الاولاد بتوعنا في كل المدارس بيردوا بالطريقه دي؟
صح.
وكأن ما فيش يعني اكن ما فيش اصلا انتونيشن، اكن ما فيش لا هو ما حدش بيرد على حد السلام كده يعني.
طبيعي
بس
مش
هم
هيقولوا
علشان
كده.
لو احنا بنتكلم بشكل طبيعي مش هيبقى كده. طب ايه اللي بيخلي الاولاد بتوعنا ينطقوا بالطريقه ديت؟ هو المدرس عودهم على ان هم المس عودتهم على ان هم يقولوا بصوت عالي ويقولوا مع بعض، فبقت كل طريقه التكرار بتاعتهم بالايه؟ بالطريقه دي. دي اصلا بتفقدهم الاحساس بطبيعيه اللغه نفسها. عشان كده اول حاجه نعملها مع الاولاد، لا الاولاد لما انا اقول لكم جود مورنينج ردوا عليا جود مورنينج يعني. مش لازم ايه جود مورنينج مس. طب ده كده لا في ستريس ولا في انتونيشن ولا.
جميل.
هنا بيتكلم على can you suggest any awareness raising techniques which are useful for raising learners. انا بقترح على حضراتكم ان شاء الله باذن الله ان احنا هناخد السيشن تاني هيبقى كله عباره عن اكسرسايز على الترمينولوجي اللي احنا اتكلمنا عليه. يعني مثلا دلوقتي اتكلمنا على الديفينيشن بتاعت عايزين ناخد عليه اكسرسايز، سواء انا ليا انا كمدرس عشان الموضوع يتضح بالنسبه لي واعرف الموضوع بتفاصيل اكتر، او الاكسرسايز اللي انا هتعامل بيها مع الطلبه بتوعي عشان اوصل لهم الموضوع ده بدون دخول في تفاصيل بقى وايه والمصطلحات وحاجات زي كده.
تمام.
كده كفايه علينا النهارده.
اتفقنا.
Do you have any questions to discuss before we end our session today?
هو بس مصطفى في بعض المشاكل بتقابل في الامريكان برونسيشن، بريتش برونسيشن. في بعض المدرسين بيقولوا مثلا ان لا، يعني مثلا انا طول الوقت بقول وهوز، بقول واز. طب مثلا يوجوالي، طب ما انا برضه دخلت على الديكشنري لقيت ان يوجوالي بتتنطق كده صح، هم بيقولوا لا يوجوالي. بيجي طلبه يقولوا لي هنا كده، وبعدين لقينا حد تاني بيقولها كده. فانا مش هو انا ارجع تاني اشك في نفسي، هو انا كنت غلط، فارجع للقاموس الاقي لا الدنيا، طب ما انا كنت بقراها برضه بطريقه صحيحه يعني.
طيب خلينا بس الاول نعمل